Young Junk!
Welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Vincent Williams, and I'm joined as always by my partner.
Hey, holla at your boy. This is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble.
And on this episode, we travel way, way back to the 20th century.
To the 1900s.
To the late 1900s with 1999's Blue Streak, starring Martin Lawrence and someone else.
Luke Wilson.
Luke? Missionaries, it snowed here in Philadelphia, and in full disclosure, I've been battling the snow and the ice all day, so I'm a little loopy.
I understand. We got
Blue Streak.
Blue Streak. Yes.
You want to do it again? And on tonight's stop, I don't know if you want to edit this. Sometimes Lynn edits things for the podcast.
And sometimes I leave it all
And sometimes he leaves it all in. But we're going to talk about Blue Streak. Mm-hmm. With Martin Lawrence and Luke Wilson.
Oh my God. You have...
Not to be confused with Luke Perry.
Or Owen Wilson.
Or Owen Wilson, his brother.
Right. Or Luke Perry, who is not his brother.
Not his brother. Or Brian Wilson, who's not his brother.
Not his brother
but
either.
the mastermind of the Beach Boys. Or Rita Wilson, who I always thought was a surprisingly good actress, and I know it seemed like when she got married to Tom Hanks, she kind of pulled back. Mm-hmm. But I thought she should have acted more. Or Wilson Fisk, who's a fictional supervillain, the Kingpin.
Or Wilson, who is a fictional soccer ball. From
Was he a soccer ball or a volleyball?
I thought it was a soccer ball. Oh, you're right. It was a volleyball.
It was a volleyball.
It was a volleyball.
Was a volleyball. We don't know though because it got lost.
Well, he was a volleyball, but with a fictional soccer ball.
With a. See, you're making up things. I'm trying to stick to the actual movie. But I guess do you think that was weird for Tom Hanks saying Wilson all the time when his wife's name was Rita Wilson?
I'm sure he wasn't calling her.
He wasn't calling.
I'm sure it wasn't.
He wasn't calling. He probably never called her Wilson.
Never.
Okay. Anyway, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. How are you, Lynn?
What you don't know, missionaries, is that before the camera started rolling, Vincent said, "Hey, let's keep it short tonight. It's cold. It's cold outside.
Linear. Do the show. Do the show."
Before we went into the Book of Wilsons.
The Book of Wilsons.
I'm fine, Vincent.
Yes.
I'm doing very well. A shout out to each and every one of you out there watching us as we stream live from Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace here in Manayunk, streaming to Facebook as well as to YouTube, where all of you are in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
And a special birthday shout out to a longtime friend of the show, Dorian Missick.
Happy birthday, Dorian. Hope you had a good one.
Yes. Happy birthday, my friend.
Yes.
All right, Vincent. We're here on the Micheaux Mission.
Yes.
And it's akin to a TV show, but it is not, in fact, a TV show.
It is not.
So we, unfortunately, will never be in the running for an Emmy Award.
Until we're on television.
I'm gonna
speak it into the universe.
Put it out there.
On television.
But until that time, we are here to congratulate the winners of the Emmy Awards, people who of interest to our fans here, such as Quinta Brunson,
Philadelphia's own,
who once again won a Emmy Award for actress in a comedy series.
Yes.
For Abbott Elementary.
Yes, the first African-American woman, actress. So the first African-American winner since Isabel Sanford for the Jeffersons.
Which was 40 years ago. Yeah, that is amazing.
I think that says much more about the Emmys than it does the nominees.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Most certainly.
Yeah.
And I know you're
congratulations, Quinta. We're going to keep it positive.
Most definitely.
Very proud. Very, very proud.
And also want to send kudos to Ayo Edebiri, who won for supporting actress in a comedy series for her role in The Bear.
Which is weird because, as we said, it seems like if there was going to be a lead actress on The Bear,
it would be Ayo.
It would be Ayo.
Most certainly. Yeah, I think I would consider her the lead actress. I'm not mad at them doing this. Maybe they figured this would be her best way of getting an award.
Sure.
Not wanting her to go up against the buzzsaw that is Quinta Brunson. And
sure.
And who knows, the two of them may have canceled each other out if they were in the same category.
Sure. And then the fact that, as we were vigorously discussing, that The Bear was nominated for comedy awards.
And won for comedy awards.
Right. And certainly if you've ever seen The Bear, it's just a madcap, joke-a-minute fun fest.
The Bear, which we are both fans of.
Sure.
To be fair.
Sure. So you got suicide, alcoholism, drug abuse.
Okay, but
existential angst at whether or not you fit in. The buzzsaw that is a restaurant, running a restaurant. Regentrification. What else we got on The Bear? That's just...
It's all fire.
Hilarious.
For hilarity.
The hilarity. What else is...
Look, The Bear is not a laugh-a-minute romp.
Right.
Okay?
Wasn't it hilarious when Carmi had a nervous breakdown the last episode and was locked in the freezer?
Locked in the meat locker.
Right.
Yes. It's not a romp-a-minute.
And weren't we all laughing when Marcus missed a phone call that his mom died?
It is. There are funny moments in the series.
Yeah.
And don't let the fact that I'm hard pressed to think of any color your opinion of that fact that I just stated.
Right.
I can see it definitely is more drama than comedy.
Right.
But it's still a drama.
Didn't we all crack up at the episode 7 Fishes?
Is that the dinner?
Yeah.
That does have funny moments.
Oh, wasn't that hilarious?
Jamie Lee Curtis was hilarious in that.
Didn't she crack you up?
She did.
Absolutely.
She did. Until she didn't. But it was funny. It does have funny moments in the series. It does.
Oh, yeah.
John Mulaney is in that episode.
Right.
I love John Mulaney.
Yeah,
he was funny.
Was he?
Ish.
Regardless, congratulations. Best comedy.
Okay. In its later years, not in the beginning, but in its later years, the MASH,
yes,
was definitely more dramedy,
right,
than comedy in its later years, and some would say more drama,
right. But that was because Alan Alda kind of took control of the thing.
Yet it was still considered a comedy.
But it basically grandfathered in as a comedy, though.
Okay.
Right.
Well, the first season of The Bear was funnier. It was funnier. See, I gave myself license to go back to the first season. First season and the pilot episode where they have all the nerds come down for the contest,
right?
At the restaurant.
My cousin went out and shot the gun in the air and
got them to act right. That was funny.
Okay.
It was fun. I laughed.
Hey, look, man, I'm glad the sister won the award. But to your point about them maybe nominating her for the supporting actress because they didn't want her to butt heads with Quinta Brunson, which I think is a very good observation. I would just counter with maybe she should have been nominated for Best Actress for a dramatic series.
Well, then she would have been going up against the buzzsaw that was Succession.
I think they could handle Succession.
No.
I think The Bear can handle Succession.
No. In the drama category this year, Succession is The Bear.
Because it went off.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Sarah Snook won.
That's fair. Although Better Call Saul went out with no awards.
Yeah.
Joining, what is it? It's like The Wire.
The Wire.
Like I saw, it was a list of them. It's quite embarrassing
I think
for the Emmys.
But what I think hurts Better Call Saul, and admittedly, I think I maybe have caught 3 episodes of it, and it was good. Well, good enough, but I didn't. I think what hurts Better Call Saul is people saw it as not only a sequel, even though it actually is a prequel.
Well,
to Breaking Bad.
It's actually both.
Well, it's a little bit of both.
Right.
But I think not only did people see it as a sequel to Breaking Bad, but I think people got the sense that it fit in a lot of that same mold of Breaking Bad, as opposed to something like Frasier, which was definitely a sequel to Cheers,
Right.
but had a different vibe than Cheers.
That's fair.
So
I
it
think
felt
you're
like a wholly
100%
different
right.
show.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. But I would have, well, let me, like I assume, like if you're an Emmy voter, you're supposed to know better.
Well, I mean, okay, well, let's think about during the course of Better Call Saul's run, it's going up against what? Game of Thrones, as far as dramas.
Yeah.
It's going up against Game of Thrones. I mean, that's enough. I can't even think of what else it may have been going up against at that time.
Yeah, but Game of Thrones has been off for like 2 years now.
Point within Succession came.
Yeah.
I know you may not, I don't know how big you are on Succession.
Yeah.
Succession is a good show.
No, I think it's a good show. Like, it's a good show. It's, like, all right. There's lots of good shows. We talking about the best of the best.
Yeah, well, anyway, look.
Congrats.
The sisters won. That's what counts.
Yes.
And that's all.
Yes.
At the end of the day, all this talk, that's all we care about.
That's right.
They won.
Congrats to all.
All right. Where are we going from here? I know where we're going from here, Vincent.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked.
I did with my mind.
We're going to messages from you, ladies and gentlemen, your emails, or as we like to call them,
Mrs. from the Missionaries.
So what else is going on, Lynn?
we have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries.
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Missives from the missionaries.
Mrs. from the Missionaries, ladies and gentlemen, we got an email, Vincent, from Nicholas.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Happy New Year, Len and Vincent. A quick question for both of you to chime in on.
Okay.
Oh, this will be a good one for you, Vincent, because longtime listeners of the Micheaux Mission may remember that Vincent used to host a radio show.
I did.
Here in Philadelphia on G-Town Radio.
It's all soul.
It's all soul.
That's right.
Nicholas has a music question.
Okay.
Do you guys listen to Gene Carn and Phyllis Hyman? Who do you both prefer more?
Oh. Interesting. Why don't you go first? Because this is a real Philly question.
Yeah.
So I should defer to the Philadelphia native before I bring in my outsider.
Your outsider.
Right. I've only lived in Philadelphia for 20 years.
Yeah, which is not long enough.
Look, man. I look. I don't look. I don't play with y'all.
You know, I have a real soft spot for Phyllis Hyman.
Okay.
I have a soft spot for Phyllis Hyman. A soul singer, if ever there was one.
Absolutely.
Just deep soul. I think she's one of those people that kind of maybe got she got lost in her own head, some might say. Definitely lived a tortured life and far too fleeting of a life. And got lost in the mix of her contemporaries.
Yeah.
You know, the buzzsaw that is Patti LaBelle. Also, the buzzsaw that is Whitney Houston.
It was real tough in the 80s.
Yeah.
Going into the 90s. Well, not the 90s for Phyllis Hyman, unfortunately.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was real tough in the 80s.
It was real tough. Jean Carn definitely saw, you know, late 70s, 80s. It was her heyday as well. But I got a soft spot for Phyllis Hyman.
Sure.
I would ride with Phyllis.
I would ride with Phyllis. I think Jean Carn, you know, unfortunately, because part of the reason that this has happened is because Phyllis Hyman died so young. Jean Carn has a much more interesting career, though.
Okay.
Like, I love the work that Jean Carn did with her husband, her ex-husband now, but who just off the top of my head, because again, it's me versus the snow.
She was
married to what's the brother's name?
I'm trying to pull it up, but I'm not seeing. I'm not seeing who she was. What? No, I'm not seeing who she was married to.
Oh, you're gonna make me open my phone.
Oh, Doug Carn.
Doug Carn. Yeah.
Doug Carn.
So I really enjoyed her work with Doug Carn. Was she on Philadelphia International?
Yes.
Love her Philadelphia International work. And quietly, she has an album on that Jazz is Dead series that oh boy, this is gonna be a great night for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. That Ali Shaheed Muhammad and what's the other brother's name? They have that jazz series that they do. The Jazz is Dead. It's Ali Shaheed Muhammad. Just look up Jazz is Dead real quick.
Okay.
But they have a whole album with Jean Carn.
Oh, so she's the whole album,
Right.
It is.
It's Adrienne Young. Adrienne Young. So she has an album.
Thank you, Dylan.
Yeah, she has. That's a really, really cool album. So, like, if you force me to pick the catalog of one, I would pick Jean Carn.
Okay.
There you go.
Fair enough.
I think that's a nice political answer for somebody who's not from Philadelphia, because Philadelphia people don't play about Jean Carn or Phyllis Hyman.
No, they do not.
So,
no, we do not.
got to thread that needle.
Very true. All right. And thank you, Nick, for that question.
Thank you, Nick. Love the music stuff.
We also got an email from Michael Sykes.
Hey, Michael.
And this dovetails a little bit into our review tonight, but I'll read the email here in this portion. Hello, Len and Vincent. I know you'll be reviewing one of my favorite Martin Lawrence movies, Blue Streak, this evening. Looking back at Martin's recent filmography and stand-up have made me question, does Martin Lawrence still have the comedic and acting chops? In my opinion, no. After Welcome Home, and I don't mean this is what Michael Sykes is saying.
This is Michael. We haven't talked about our opinion yet.
I haven't given passed.
Yes, we haven't talked about ours yet.
Not at all. Continuing in Michael's voice.
Yes.
Speaking for Michael.
Should maybe use a different voice.
After Roscoe Jenkins, he just wasn't funny no more. I can't.
Don't do that. Somehow it's vaguely racist, and I'm not sure how.
After Roscoe Jenkins, he just wasn't funny anymore. And if you look at the filmography after Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, it reads like this: College Road Trip, Big Mama's House 3,
Good Lord,
Death at a Funeral, The Beach Bum, his thriller movie Mind Cage.
Oh, I remember that. I remember he made a thriller.
I don't remember that.
Oh,
he actually did make a thriller.
we should have switched up and done that. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh boy.
It's like Chris Rock was in Saw.
Yeah, that's true.
It was like, what is happening right now?
Doesn't make any sense. His failed TV show Partners with Kelsey Grammer Yeah, that had
Wow, I forgot that existed.
that had flop written all over it. And his failed 2016 stand-up, Martin Lawrence Doing Time. Bad Boys 3 is passable due to Will Smith and the storyline. Other than that, Martin wasn't funny in it. May I also add, in the Martin TV show reunion, it seemed as though he wasn't into being there. It was just another check to pick up. His heart wasn't in it at all. Eddie Murphy still hasn't and always will. He showed that to me through Dolomite Is My Name and his SNL hosting set in 2019. I'm sorry, Martin just doesn't have it anymore. I've been following him since I was a kid during the first season of Martin in 1992, so it hurts me to say that he doesn't have it anymore. Y'all think he has it? If so, prove me wrong. Hope you all had a great holiday and a good 2024. Love, Michael Sykes. Well, I think we can hold off our opinion.
Yeah. I will say this, because this has nothing to do with Blue Streak. The Martin reunion, and even last night,
Oh, that's right.
when the cast of Martin just never looks like he wants to be there.
See, I didn't see him. I didn't even see the clip from last night.
Yeah.
So was he still looking a little checked out?
Yeah.
Really?
Like just sort of detached. You know?
Was there any like distance between him and Tisha Campbell, or have they?
No,
I don't know
think
whether or not they.
whatever happened, their body language was fine.
Okay, so maybe
Like,
they
you know, Tisha
burned
Campbell,
that hatchet.
Tichina Arnold, and Carl Payne.
Right.
And the three of them seemed, you know, a little peppy. But just every time I see Martin Lawrence over the past 5 or 6 years, even during the publicity run for Bad Boys 3, he just never seems to want to be there, which I can relate to. Like I understand. Like sometimes you got to do this stuff. Like and he's rich, so I don't know.
Maybe he didn't want to be there.
Yeah,
maybe he's not as rich as you think.
right.
Because he was there.
Right.
Like Michael is alluding to.
Right.
That's just a check.
Well, you know,
I don't know how big a check it could have been, but
I would we'll talk about this much more with Welcome Home Roscoe Jenkins.
right, which we'll be doing in 2 weeks.
I would love to see something with him as an older comedian.
So wait a minute.
So something
So
just
like he's more of a character actor in something.
Yeah. And for
Really?
the record, I don't know if he has the chops.
Yeah, I'm about to say he's never given me any
I don't know if he has the chops.
indication that.
But you know what? And we'll talk about this next week with Meet Dave. Like, I just feel like at some point when you are iconic, you know, get weird with it.
Because you've got
Because
the,
you can.
yeah. Yeah, okay.
Like, you know who I'm digging now more than I've ever thought I'd ever dig, ever since the first time I saw his silly ass? Adam Sandler is doing really interesting stuff like every couple of years. Have you seen the trailer? Did you see the trailer for Spaceman?
No.
He plays an astronaut who's by himself, and he may or may not be hallucinating.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but look, you're Adam Sandler. You got more money than God. Get weird with it.
No, I hear you on that, and I saw that you kind of like making that allusion to Eddie Murphy. Martin Lawrence doesn't fit icon status.
You don't think Martin Lawrence is iconic?
No.
Why?
I think because he, just like we've talked about Blair Underwood, very talented actor, but unfortunately comes in under that wake of Denzel Washington, who was such an icon. He kind of like explodes over everything. Martin Lawrence comes in the wake of Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy kind of like just, and Will Smith is popping at the same time.
This is where I disagree with you. I think after Def Comedy Jam, and the television show Martin. Mm-hmm. Martin Lawrence actually creates his own lane.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
And that lane, frankly, is black.
Okay.
Like I think Martin Lawrence is more along the lines of, I'm trying to think of a great equivalent of who I'm thinking about, who is iconic, but doesn't necessarily have quote unquote crossover appeal. Even though I think he's bigger. Like my test is always the two targets. Like the two targets. Like that's my black famous litmus test. Here in Philadelphia, there are two targets that I always think of. Like the Cheltenham target is black people target, and then it's like the target on Monument Road. Mm-hmm. And I always think about celebrities who could go to Monument Road and shop at that target, but there's no way they could go to Cheltenham.
Okay.
And like I feel like if Mary J. Blige just sort of put a hat on, she could go to Monument Road. Mm-hmm. But like she could not go to the Cheltenham target.
Okay.
And I feel like Martin Lawrence is the same way. Like I feel if Martin Lawrence put on a baseball cap, he could go to Monument Road, but he could not go to Cheltenham.
Okay, but that doesn't make him an icon.
I think it makes him more of an icon than what you're talking about with Blair Underwood, or an actor who comes in the wake of other people, because he made his own lane. Like I do think that there is a specific black lane where you can be iconic, mm-hmm. and you don't necessarily overlap, like you're talking about with that generation of black leading men who never got to be the black leading men that they should have been, because there was only room for one black leading man. Like I think Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence are three iconic black comedic figures. But part of what makes them iconic black comedic figures is that they each have their own lanes.
Okay. This is an interesting conversation. I see you on that, and I can maybe buy the argument of Martin Lawrence being considered an icon to black people, not so much because of his comedy, but because of the show, and because how the show resonated with people.
And Def Comedy Jam. Like, I don't think you can really underestimate the legacy of Def Comedy Jam.
The legacy of Def Comedy Jam is definitely there, right? And he is a part of it because he was a great host on it. I'm not discounting his role.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting his role in it. But I think the legend of Def Comedy Jam is the comedians that broke out on it. It's the Bernie Mac moment. It's the Chris Tucker moment. It is other comedians having
I
specific
also think
moments.
that if you look at black comedy, frankly, it has more of Martin Lawrence's DNA.
Okay, regardless of that, yes, that gives him, elevates him in black consciousness, right? And perhaps it puts him close to iconic level. In my eyes, I don't see him reaching the iconic level. I see Eddie Murphy. I see Chris Rock primarily and probably solely because of the stand-up. I see Dave Chappelle. Right. I see Martin Lawrence is maybe that tier right below. Yeah. And now mind you, he may have that tier all to himself. I'll give you that. But I see him maybe that tier below.
Do you think an icon has to have crossover appeal? Is Mary J. Blige iconic?
Yes. But Mary J. Blige, who I think does have some crossover appeal. So
it's like non-white women like that one song.
Right. But I think Mary J. Blige is the true icon for black people in the way that you're saying Martin Lawrence is.
I think they're equivalent. I actually think they're perfect parallels. Like, I think black people love Martin Lawrence more than they love Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle.
That maybe so.
Yeah, but that's huge.
It is, but I still don't. Mind you, I'm only saying me.
No.
And I'm not saying that he doesn't.
Right.
He gets the
Quite honestly,
gets the flowers.
quite honestly, if all of us, like we just had the black people meeting that we don't tell white people about, just all of
Dylan,
us.
step outside.
But the full meeting, not the branch meetings that we had.
Okay.
Like the full meeting.
Everybody
Get a vote.
Everybody gets a vote.
We might love Martin Lawrence more than we do any other comedian.
That's not true. We don't love Martin Lawrence more than we love Eddie Murphy.
I think there are lots of black people that love Martin Lawrence more than Eddie Murphy.
No.
You're showing your age bias.
I'm not showing my age bias.
You're showing your age bias.
No, I'm not showing my age bias because for every one of us, meaning people in our age range, who loves Eddie Murphy because of Saturday Night Live, because of the stand-up specials, because of his earlier films, there are people in generations below us who love Eddie Murphy because of the family comedies and the cartoons.
I think they're fond of him. I think you are really underestimating the resonance of the Martin reruns.
I'm not underestimating that, but I think you're underestimating how huge Eddie Murphy is in black consciousness.
I don't know how much Dr. Doolittle. I mean, and I'm
You're
not
going Dr. Doolittle.
I'm not talking about the donkey and that, because that's just donkey.
I mean, you say just Donkey. Shrek is one of the biggest things, and there's three of them.
But nobody thinks about that as Eddie Murphy if you're 30. You just think about donkey.
But that's you looking at it from that lens. A kid knows that's the voice. Think of how it is when you, and maybe it's not for you, but for a lot of people our age, when we go to conventions and things like that, and we see the voices of our childhood.
It's a little detached
For you, but for some, there's a lot of people who it means a lot to them.
But
I think you're discounting what that means to a generation that grew up with that voice of Donkey, that grew up with the dragon from Mulan, who grew up on Dr. Doolittle, Daddy Daycare, and a couple of his other sillier movies. The Nutty Professor 1 and 2. They grew up with Eddie Murphy. I think you're so I'm not saying that black people don't have mad love for Martin Lawrence, and perhaps an argument could be made that if we were all in a room,
right, the full meeting,
the monolith of black people were in the room,
full meeting,
and we made that vote, that there would be Martin Lawrence might get more votes than Chris.
Oh, I think he definitely does.
And
Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle, yeah.
But I think Eddie would top him.
All right. Well, I don't know if he's lost it or not, but I wish he'd do something weird.
All right. Let's get into the top 5.
All right.
Top 5. Who's your top 5?
The dragon from Mulan is Micheaux. Thank you, Terry Lee.
My top 5 is.
Just adding that part.
I didn't say anything about that. Go ahead. All right. Top 5.
Top 5, ladies and gentlemen,
5.
where I give Vincent a list and he gives us a scintillating commentary on it. We're going to switch things up a little bit, Vincent.
Switching it up.
Oh my God, did I not? I think I forgot to do something.
Oh
no, wait a minute.
Wait.
Hold on. Let me check something.
Watch out now.
Watch out now, right? Because I think I may have. Did I? I did. I
36, 24, 36.
I get busy, man.
Only if she 5'2".
I get busy.
Remember Sir Mix-a-Lot said that?
And I honestly got very busy. And I did not email myself the top 5.
All right.
So,
all right.
I'm going off the top of my head with the top
Top five off the top of the dome. Top five, top of the dome.
Top five off the top of the dome.
All right.
And this is the top five.
That's how I do Derville Martin. Now you like, oh, come on, top of the dome. Let's go.
All right. This.
I'll help you out. I'll look up something if you need it.
I would appreciate that.
All right.
You going to do some producing?
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to produce something. All right. It's about to be a product.
This is actually a payoff to last week's show.
Uh-oh.
Because if you remember on last week's show, Vincent,
Yes.
I promised you,
Yes.
and I promised the audience, all
Yes.
of you missionaries, that over the 3-day weekend,
Yes.
along with Blue Streak for our
Of course.
review,
Of course. Guy always do the work.
that I would sit and I would watch
Yes.
in order
Yes.
The Warriors,
Right. The word Flash Gordon.
Flash Gordon,
And what was the third one?
The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys. Did you do it?
Mission accomplished.
Okay. So what's the top five?
The top five are the top five holds up ability. Whether or not these 3 films hold up,
Okay. What we got?
more or less, these are my takeaways after sitting through The Warriors,
Yes.
Flash Gordon, and The Lost Boys.
Yes. What you got?
All right.
Number 5.
Number 5, if I remember correctly,
All right.
is Timmy for Timothy Dalton,
Yeah.
who is in Flash Gordon.
Yes, he is. He plays Prince
Baron.
Robin Hood.
Well, Prince Baron.
Prince Baron, that's right. And he had a mustache.
Well, Timothy Dalton often had a mustache. I don't think that was a big
That's
thing
right.
for him to have a
And
mustache.
he couldn't figure out how he was rivals with this dumb meathead.
No, he couldn't figure it out. And I don't blame him for not being able to figure
Because
it out.
no one in the film, I'm sorry, go ahead. It's my favorite part of Flash Gordon. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. Continue. What are you going to say?
No, what are you going to say about Timothy Dalton? Does
Well-
he hold up?
Well, here's the thing.
you?
Here's the thing. Timothy Dalton is in this film,
Yes, he is.
Flash Gordon, which comes out in 1980. Are you aware of the filmography of Timothy Dalton at this time?
No, not at all.
Timothy Dalton is in Flash Gordon in 1980. In 1975, he stars in a movie called Permission to Kill, which was a sexual thriller.
Ooh.
In 1978, he stars as Juan de Dios in The Man Who Knew Love.
Wait, is this like soft porn?
He also stars as Sir Michael Barrington in 1978 in a film called Sextet.
Was Timothy Dalton making softcore porn?
And he followed up Flash Gordon in 1981 with Chanel Solitaire.
Was Timothy Dalton making Cinemax movies?
I think Timothy Dalton was a man of a certain genre.
Wow. So how's this? So what's this? How does this top five as number 5? What do you
It's
say?
just a takeaway from this film.
It's just a takeaway.
Because I wonder what about Flash Gordon, attracted him to this film.
He thought maybe it was a remake of the softcore classic Flash Gordon.
Well, Flash Gordon was actually made in answer to Flash Gordon.
Was Flash Gordon after Flash Gordon? I thought it was around the same time.
Well, it was around the same time,
right,
but
right.
it was
But Flash Gordon was first.
Right.
Got you.
Right.
Got you.
No. So, what attracted him to Flash Gordon? We'll check that one at number 3.
Okay. All right. So what's number 4?
First, number 4.
All right.
I have to remember what number 4 is.
Okay.
Number 4 is I'm asked Dylan. What is number 4? Dylan, I swear I forgot to email it to
You
him.
asking Dylan? You You sent it to Dylan?
No, because he gets the graphics.
Oh, okay.
So he has the graphics.
Oh,
And I can't see the graphics.
right.
Oh, yes. The Coreys.
The Coreys.
The
and
two
Lost Boys.
Coreys.
That's right, the Frog Brothers.
Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Yes.
My takeaway from this is, what was the big deal about the two Coreys?
I don't know.
Because neither of them are good.
And we're never good.
We're never good. Shame about Corey Haim, who led a tragic life, and then
Corey Haim was in something that he was good in.
Corey Haim
He
is
was like a kid actor in
well.
something.
They're both for
No.
kid actors.
Like he was in a. Why am I looking at
Corey Feldman? Corey Feldman was actually in good stuff because Corey Feldman was in Stand By Me, and he was in The Goonies.
Right.
But Corey Haim, he rose to prominence.
What was he
in? Silver Bullet, Murphy's Romance, and Lucas.
Lucas
Is the movie
was
that
really
kind of like
good
put
in
him on the
Lucas,
track
yeah.
in 1986.
Yeah. But in the Lost Boys, I mean, they looked like they were having fun.
I mean, they look like two
I think
kids.
they looked like they were having fun.
Well, Corey Feldman thinks he's Rambo in this
Right.
movie.
So if you were 12 or 13 at the time, it looked like they were having fun in the midst of all this stuff.
I guess, but I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, but people went on and on about
Well,
them.
then I think they tried to make them a thing.
Here's the thing, though. If you had seen Corey Haim in Lucas, you would have guessed that he might have had a better career than Corey Feldman.
He actually, I was just about to say, Corey Feldman was the worst thing that happened to his career.
Why you say that?
Because
Corey Feldman actually tried to help him and try to keep him on a...
No. I mean, besides the personal stuff, I just meant he could have been a more serious actor.
Oh, because they started...
Right. Like they had turned into this kind of hokey...
Well, I mean, Corey Haim, unfortunately, fell into a drug addiction.
Yeah.
And that's how he lost his life.
Yeah.
Corey Feldman, who did suffer his own, issues, but never to that level.
Yeah.
At least the story is that he tried to.
Well, he was really good in Lucas.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So the Coreys.
That's the Corey.
Another takeaway.
That's another takeaway. What was the big deal of the Coreys?
I mean, but you get it though.
No, I don't.
Come on.
I don't.
Man, why do you act like you
I don't, because they're not good.
Yeah,
and neither
but-
are they even that good looking.
They're kids in the midst of this chaos. I get it.
I mean,
All right.
I see why River Phoenix popped. I don't see why these two popped.
Right. But again, you see why River Phoenix had an actual career.
Wow.
And these two were kind of like in Teen Beat or Tiger Beat. All right.
Tiger Beat.
What's number 3? Which
Number
apparently
3.
4, 5 reference 3. What's 3?
Horn Dogs from Space.
Okay.
Because Flash Gordon
Yeah.
is a horny movie.
Yes.
Everything about this movie. There is actually, ladies and gentlemen, for people who have not seen Flash Gordon in quite some time, it is the story of a football player,
Yes.
Flash Gordon,
Flash Gordon.
and I guess a reporter or
Yeah, she's a
archaeologist,
journalist.
Dale Argan,
Yeah, Dale Arden.
and a Dr. Zarkov,
Dr. Zarkov, who's a
a
scientist.
scientist, who are,
What kind of science is he? Hey, man, he's a scientist.
that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
And they are kidnapped
Yeah.
to the planet Mongo,
Yeah.
where Ming the Merciless
Ming the Merciless.
has set his sights on Dale
Yeah.
to make her the latest member of his concubine.
That's right. Well, he said he's going to marry her till he get tired of her. No, that's from the actual movie.
Yes, but
Yeah.
I mean, but he's married to all the other women in the
Right,
concubine.
right,
So it's
right.
what he does with his concubine.
Sure.
And there is a scene in this movie where one of his concubine comes to Dale to present her with a drink, to drink this drink
That's right.
before,
That's right.
so that it will help her, deal with what is to come.
Right. She got
that
to
evening.
roofie herself.
The roofie herself
Yeah.
to be with Ming. And Dale asked her, well, will this make me, not feel anything
Yeah.
or, forgetful of it? And the lady says, no, it'll just make it feel better to remember it.
Right. And this is separate from when he makes her do sexy stuff with his hypnotism ring.
With his hypnotism ring, it makes her have like an orgasm
That's
in the
right.
middle of the
With his hypnotism ring.
And mind you, this is separate from his daughter,
Yeah.
who sees Flash throw some bejeweled ball around and immediately gets turned on.
Yeah.
And then throws herself at him.
Right.
After sexually teasing a doctor to rescue Flash, which is after she promises more sex to Timothy Dalton's Prince Baron.
Right. Well, she want to marry. She's supposed to marry the prince.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She's engaged to the prince.
Yeah.
And this is before her back is stripped and she is whipped
Yeah.
by a woman while men stand around and watching this.
Yeah. In the film's defense.
No, you did not start this within the film's defense.
And I'm actually surprised you didn't bring this up because this is right down this is in your wheelhouse. Did you ever read the Alex Raymond comic strips from the 40s?
I've read some of them, yeah.
So
No, it's all there.
I was about to say, they get a little freaky.
It's all there. I mean, and let's face it, it's in a lot of that
Right.
pulp stuff
Right.
of the time.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
but the thing is that, because it was of the time, a lot of it was like very more coy,
Yeah.
innuendo.
Yeah.
It was maybe more in the drawing and the illustration.
Because Alex Raymond would draw a lady in some frilly stuff.
He had some fun with Dale.
Yeah.
He did.
So,
But in 1980, they just went,
I mean, look, man, what you want? It's the 80s. It's sexy.
it was not sexy.
It's sexy.
It was not. And what was what was the accent that Ming's daughter was talking in?
I believe the technical term is exotic.
From the country of
Exotica.
okay. Okay.
She was exotic.
It's ridiculous. Number two is Michael, followed by Michael, followed by Michael
Okay.
from the Lost Boys.
Yeah.
And I say that because
Okay.
the lead character, played by Jason Patrick,
Yes.
Michael Emerson, is the person who the Lost Boys, led by Kiefer
Are
Sutherland,
going to
recruit
Yeah.
into their brood.
Yeah.
And they do this by hypnotizing Michael,
Yes.
I assume, by calling his name throughout the movie.
Okay.
And thank God for the internet, ladies and gentlemen, because I knew it would be out there. I could not have been the only one to notice how many times they mentioned Michael in this movie.
Okay.
This movie is 98 minutes long.
Yeah.
They say Michael 114 times.
That's a lot of times.
That's a lot of times to keep saying Michael.
I've never noticed that they said his name a lot.
I noticed it within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
That's why both of us watch these movies. We pick up different things,
Yes, we're watching from different angles.
different perspectives.
That was annoying the hell.
That annoyed the hell out of
Oh
me.
my God, it annoyed
I was
the hell.
distracted by all the vampire action, so I didn't really.
What kind of vampire were these? These were the corniest, most silliest vampires. I've never known vampires to just yoink people out of their cars. They were just yoinking people out of the cars, yoinking them off the streets.
You ain't like them yoinking people?
No, I've never seen vampires do that.
I mean, because these are lost boys, so they yoink.
And they didn't bite anybody
Oh, they were ripping throats out and
in one scene.
yeah, but how many scenes you want to see them? You want more less yoinking, more ripping. And number one,
Number one takeaway from my night my weekend of the Warriors,
Flash Gordon, and the Lost Boys.
and the Lost Boys.
Uh-huh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we had the Last Dragon all along.
Who's the last
Because
dragon?
I am standing here, or sitting here,
Mm-hmm. Sitting here.
and I can't stand up because the mic won't reach high
Sure,
enough.
sure.
But I am sitting here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, all you fans of The Last Dragon, including you, which came out in 1984.
Yeah.
And it's
after-
become a certified cult classic.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
We already had a movie that should be considered, and is considered, a cult classic.
And that is.
We already have a movie that should be considered, perhaps, as the argument you were trying to make, a black cult classic.
Okay.
And that is The Warriors.
Yeah.
Because I sit here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that I took on this assignment with much trepidation. Much trepidation. And I suffered through Flash Gordon because I still contend that is a horrible waste of time.
Actually subversive. It's commentated. Flash Gordon and Blade Runner are mirror images of each. I'll tell you how. Whereas Blade Runner, the wonderful thing about Blade Runner is you have Harrison Ford playing the protagonist. And by the time Blade Runner comes out, he's already been Han Solo in 2 movies. I believe Raiders of the Lost Ark comes out right around the same, I believe a little earlier than Blade Runner. So that Harrison Ford is America's hero. And when you watch Blade Runner, Decker's actually terrible. Like, he murders women, he gets beat up. So, it's like this commentary on the sort of this American hero. It's almost this commentary on the Reagan era 80s.
Okay.
I asked you read the Alex Raymond
Flash
comic,
Gordon's, yes.
Flash, so Flash Gordon in the comic strips is a pilot.
Yes.
They change him into a football player for the movie, and he's just this colossal meathead.
Yes, he is.
So I've always seen Flash Gordon as this kind of commentary on the Rambos, because he's just this meathead. And the thing I love about Flash Gordon is that everybody in Flash Gordon is like, who is this meathead who's messing up everything? So I love Flash Gordon for that.
I do not see how you correlated those two, but I don't care.
Because both of them are protagonists who are commentary on the hero, on the 80s hero.
Okay, but I don't think Flash Gordon comes out in 1980, so I don't think he's a commentary on the 80s hero.
It comes out after Star Wars, and it comes out after something else. But please continue.
Thank you. So it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
And the Lost Boys, Vincent,
Yeah.
Mr. It holds up.
Yeah.
It may hold up a table as the DVD.
You're insane.
But the movie does not hold up.
You're
The
insane.
movie is boring. The movie is silly. The
You are
movie
insane.
is I do like Kiefer Sutherland in it. I will give you that. Kiefer Sutherland just is having fun.
Yeah.
But everything else about that movie, and Bernard Hughes, who plays the grandfather, he's having a good time. Everything else about that movie is annoying and makes absolutely no sense to me. And it was such a waste of my time. The Warriors, however, which I did say last week,
You did?
I found to be boring.
But you watched it again.
I watched it again.
And
The Warriors is a fun movie. It is a fun movie. It is a well-directed movie. You talked about Walter Hill's direction in it.
I said,
For what he does, you said he directs the hell out of the movie. He directed the hell out of the movie. It's a silly movie. I mean, as far as story goes.
I wonder what would happen if maybe you watched Flash Gordon and the Lost Boys again, and maybe if
No.
you'd eaten
No.
it.
No, I will not be watching those again
okay,
ever. But the Warriors was silly fun. But I will also contend the Warriors is a much better, cooler representation of the genre of, gang movies, silly action, those B-level movies of the late 60s and the 70s. It's a much better commentary on that. Everybody's just having a good time in the movie.
Yeah.
And that elevates it so much more than, yes, it gives it its cult its cult status because it was not a hit when it originally came out. But why it does resonate so much wider. And to me, I think, I could be wrong because I'm outside looking in, it has a bigger cultural footprint than The Last Dragon.
First of all, why are you talking to me like I love the Warriors? Like I love the Warriors.
Well, I don't know which you like more.
Second, why are we talking about The Last Dragon? Like why?
It reminded me.
Why are we talking about The Last Dragon? Last Dragon don't have nothing to do with this.
But the way that people talk about The Last Dragon, I think they should talk about The Warriors.
They're two completely different movies.
But I see a lot of similarities.
Like, do you think
there's better kung fu in the Warriors?
Like,
there's better action in the Warriors.
It's a completely different movie.
They're both action movies. Yes, they're both different movies, but they're both action movies.
You just can't say I'm wrong. I was wrong about the Warriors. Like
I am saying I was
bring
wrong.
in The Last Dragon.
Saying I'm wrong.
Like you just like I can't stand on this hill anymore. So now I'm gonna go to the hill that I always stand on.
It's a better movie.
Yeah. Well, yes, Lynn. The Warriors is a better movie than The Last Dragon.
That's all I wanted you to say.
Okay. You want me to list some other movies that are better than The Last Dragon?
No, you said The
'Cause
Warriors. That's all I needed.
Just The Warriors?
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed The Warriors.
I did enjoy The Warriors.
Glad you enjoyed
I did not enjoy anything else.
You did enjoy anything? May I submit maybe watch those when you've had a nap?
No.
I
had a nap.
Did you?
I was stuck in the house because of snow.
Well, maybe watch it when you're not stuck in the house.
That's the time. That's the only way you would.
All right. Well,
unless you want to Clockwork Orange me and strap me down and hold my eyes open.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed The Warriors.
All right. That's my top 5.
Okay. All right.
And now it's time for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin.
Surprised what a person can do with just a sense of touch and a sense of sound.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, ladies and gentlemen, where I give Vincent 2 actors and he has 6 movies or less to connect them to D'Urville Martin, legendary actor.
That's right.
From the 70s.
One man 70s gang.
He was. If D'Urville Martin, I guess he would just be the D'Urvilles.
Just the D'Urvilles.
There you go. Wonder what his gang name would be. All right, keep it in theme, Vincent.
All right, keep it in theme.
We're going to be reviewing
Blue Streak.
Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence, co-starring Luke Wilson. So, another famous Wilson.
Another famous Wilson.
Who actually did star in a movie.
Okay.
So I am playing fair.
All right.
In 6 films or less.
6 films or less.
Connect D'Urville Martin. to Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson.
More popularly known as an American jazz singer.
Sure.
But was in 2 fairly big films. Both of which I know you are aware of.
The films.
Yes.
Nancy Wilson as an actress.
Does not have a large filmography.
No.
My mom's favorite singer.
She's fantastic. The bad thing is, every time I see Nancy Wilson on screen, is the couple episodes, or maybe the one episode she was on the Cosby Show. So Nancy Wilson,
Yes, she was only on one episode.
yeah. I have no idea what movie she was in.
Well, she was in a movie in 1983, and she was in a movie in 1993.
And you say I'm aware of both of these films?
Both of these films.
And she played, she didn't play, she played,
She had a role.
she had a role.
Like she. It wasn't just like, "Hi, I'm Nancy Wilson."
Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue what she was in.
Okay. So do you want the 1983 film or the 1993 film?
Let's
Either
do-
one of them, you'll
Let's
get
do
it.
83.
83.
Yeah.
In 1983, Nancy Wilson starred alongside.
Starred.
Yeah, she is the second name
Yeah.
on the call sheet. She stars alongside. I'm just going to name a couple of names before I
Okay.
get the names to give you away. John Saxon,
Okay.
Joe Spinelli, Tony King, Richard Roundtree, and Fred Williamson in The Big Score.
I've never seen The Big Score. I don't even know what that is.
It's an American crime drama.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, that'll be Richard Roundtree. But so what's in 93?
93.
Now I'm just interested in her film career.
And you've reached the
Yeah.
end of it. In 93, she stars alongside Luther Vandross,
93.
Big Daddy Kane,
Is she in Meteor Man?
Meteor Man.
Nancy Wilson sure is in Meteor Man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm trying to think of a funky way to get to her because Meteor Man is just a hodgepodge of people.
It is.
Is a hodgepodge of people. So let's see who do I want to pull out that hodgepodge of people that I will talk about. All right, here you go. Here you go, Meteor Man, hodgepodge of people in Meteor Man. So Derville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams, who's in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington, who's in, besides Devil in a Blue Dress, was in Flight
Okay.
with Don Cheadle, which I didn't know because I've never seen Flight. I just saw a scene with him and Don Cheadle, and I said, oh, well, suddenly I'm interested in this movie. And then Don Cheadle is in Meteor Man with Nancy Wilson.
Very good, Vincent.
I love talking about Don Cheadle in Meteor Man because I feel like Don Cheadle doesn't want to talk about the fact that he was in Meteor Man and he had like that blonde, he had that blonde wig on.
Something tells me it's not on his. He doesn't lead with that.
He either loves the fact that people remember he was in Meteor Man or he hates the fact that people remember he was in Meteor Man. And I'd never bring it up to him unless like I met him like 4 times. And then the 4th time I'd say, so Don, because I figure about the 4th time he's let me call him Don. Meteor Man, huh?
I think he's reached the status in his career where he's fine with it.
Yeah.
You know, he's got other things.
Right. Nancy Wilson was in Meteor Man. Okay. All right.
Now, picking up from the Nancy
Okay.
of Nancy Wilson,
Yeah.
our next actress, who I will tell you, most of her work, she's done live work. Most of her work has been as a voice actor.
Okay.
Okay, but a prominent
Yeah.
voice actress.
All right.
In 6 films or less, connect D'Urville Martin to Nancy Cartwright.
I have absolutely no idea who that is. Who does she voice?
She voices one of the characters in the longest running, I think now,
Wait,
prime time.
Is she Lisa Simpson's voice?
No, she is.
Marge?
No.
Bart.
There you go.
All right. I have a visual. Well, she's another one. I don't know what she's in. Like, I see her, but I don't know what she was in.
Well, I mean, you know, she did Bart Simpson, so that gives you one movie.
What
If
the
nothing
Simpsons movie?
It was a movie.
I don't want to do the Simpsons movie.
Okay, if you want to make it harder on yourself.
Give me something she was in as her.
She was in Godzilla.
The American one
Yeah.
with what's his name?
Ferris Bueller.
Broderick, not Broderick.
Yeah, Broderick. Matthew
Broderick. All right. Well, let's do that. I think I got enough to do that because D'Urville Martin is in. I don't want to do this. D'Urville Martin is in. What is D'Urville Martin in? How do I want to get to this?
Well, if you use Matthew Broderick, that gives you a lot of ways.
Yeah, I know, because I know where I'm going to go with Matthew Broderick too. So D'Urville Martin is in okay. D'Urville Martin is in The Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in Bingo Long with Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor is in Which Way Is Up with Margaret Avery. Margaret Avery is in The Color Purple. I may run out. I'm going to run out. All right.
Having trouble connecting Matthew Broderick with black people?
No. Oh, what's her name? What's her name in Election?
Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon. Okay. D'Urville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side with what's the father's name in Five on the Black Hand Side? Just lost him. I just lost him. Because he's also in Boomerang.
Oh, God, you go to him all the time. On the Leonard Jackson?
Leonard Jackson. Leonard Jackson's in Boomerang with Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is in Meet Dave with Gabrielle Union, who is in
Coming up on it.
it's only 3.
Oh, okay.
And Gabrielle Union is in Bring It On with Reese Witherspoon.
Reese Witherspoon's in
Wait!
I don't think that's her.
That's not Reese Witherspoon. I'm mixing up white girls.
That's your kryptonite.
I done mixed up the white girls.
Getting weak.
Who's the white girl in Bring It On? That's not Reese Witherspoon. That's what's her name. Lord, I done mixed up the white girl.
Kirsten Dunst.
That's Kristen Dunst. That's not Reese Witherspoon at all. Oh, Lord. Lordsy. All right.
Here's the thing. When I chose Nancy Cartwright, because whenever I choose people, I try and figure out one of my own. And
Right.
if I can figure out one of my own, then I think it's fair.
Right.
Right?
What is she in besides Godzilla?
The Simpsons movie. I mean, she's in other stuff, but you wouldn't know them.
Right.
But
right.
I figured one out for Nancy.
Uh-huh.
But my problem was I woke up this morning and realized I used television.
Right.
I still connected to the Simpsons movie, but I
Sure,
used television,
sure.
and I've actually been racking my brain to reconnect the dots of the way that I figured it out, and I haven't been able to.
Who else is in Godzilla besides Matthew Broderick? I know it's Matthew Broderick.
I mean, and Godzilla. Like, I don't think there's really
No.
there's
It's
too
just
many
some
other
scientist
people.
or something.
Let me see who else is in that movie besides Matthew Broderick. Hold on. Godzilla. Thanks for playing along at home, ladies and gentlemen, as we rock out with this from 1998. Oh, Vincent, there's a connection right there. There's a connection. I just saw his face.
Because we've killed all this time. Who is it?
Hank Azaria.
Oh, well, there you go. Hank Azaria.
So you gotta formally do it.
Wait, but Hank Azaria is just in the Simpsons movie.
Yeah, but he's in Godzilla too.
Yeah, but she's in Godzilla, so I don't need the Simpsons movie.
Okay, but you gotta say it. I don't even remember the dot you're connecting yet anymore.
Hell, I don't remember the dots I'm connected. All right. Derville Martin is in.
You said 5 on a.
Wait a second.
I know you said Leonard Jackson.
Yeah, I'm starting all over again. Derville Martin is in. Derville Martin is in. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Derville Martin is in the final come down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in Star Wars with James Earl Jones. And I'm going to count James Earl Jones because he's the voice.
Okay.
James Earl Jones is in Soul Man with what's the white boy's name?
Eugene Levy.
No, Soul Man. The the dude who puts on the blackface, who destroyed his own career.
Oh,
I'm about to say not Timothy Dalton or Matt Dalton or
Matt.
Yeah, what's his name?
I'll kind of look it up. I don't remember his name. He destroyed his career. What do I care? That would be C. Thomas Howell.
C. Thomas Howell. C. Thomas Howell is in Red Dawn with Patrick Swayze. Patrick Swayze. I'm going to run out again because he's in, whatchamacallit, Dirty Dancing with Jennifer Grey, who's with Matthew Broderick, but now I'm up to 6. I know there's a short way to get to it. Derville Martin. Oh, now the alarm's going on, so that's... She's in Godzilla and she's in The Simpsons. Godzilla has Timothy Dalton in it. I mean, Matthew Broderick in it. Matthew Broderick is in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and in... What else is Matthew Broderick in?
Well, he's in Biloxi Blues.
Yeah, but I forget who all is in there.
But he's also in what's the name of the movie? The movie that he's in with Marlon Brando.
Oh, right. I forget the name of that movie.
It's not called The Freshman.
Is that The Freshman?
Is it called The Freshman? I think it's called The Freshman.
With Marlon Brando and The Freshman.
See, let me tell you how I was trying to go. Because I was trying to connect to the Simpsons movie, right?
Right.
So I was figuring Derville Martin...
Wait, who all is in the Simpsons movie besides the Simpsons?
Well, I'm about to show you. I was trying to get to the Simpsons movie, and my connection to the Simpsons movie was thinking of Harry Shearer and getting into This Is Spinal Tap, right? So Harry Shearer This Is Spinal Tap gets to the Simpsons movie.
Who else is in the Simpsons movie? The other voices.
Harry Shearer, Nancy Cartwright, Marsha Wallace.
Certainly there were some celebrities in the Simpsons movie.
I think it was mostly the people from the show. I don't remember.
No one shows up?
Okay, I'll look it up. But
I mean, you picked this.
No, but I want to see if, because I think this will help you. So I was thinking of Harry Shearer to Nancy Cartwright, right? Because from This Is Spinal Tap. So then I was thinking, all right, well, who else is in This Is Spinal Tap? Bruce Kirby is in This Is Spinal Tap. So then I was thinking, all right, well, Bruce Kirby is in Godfather 2 with Robert De Niro.
Really? This is Bruce Kirby?
No, Bruno Kirby. Is it it's Bruno Kirby.
Is it Bruno Kirby?
I think it's Bruno Kirby.
Because Bruno Kirby. Okay, well,
Bruno Kirby.
Okay, well, here, no, I can do the Bruno Kirby. I can do Bruno Kirby.
But and how many moves?
Easy. Derville Martin, Final Come Down with Billy D. Williams. Billy D. Williams is in Star Wars with Carrie Fisher. Carrie Fisher is in When Harry Met Sally with Bruno Kirby. Bruno Kirby is in what now? He's in This Is Spinal Tap.
Okay, cool. So then he's in This Is Spinal Tap with Harry Shearer, who's in the Simpsons movie with Nancy Cartwright. All right, so now you completed it for me.
Go.
Because that was the one that's how I was going. I couldn't find that middle ground.
Yeah, Bruno Kirby. You should always know the
And what was he in? Oh, when Harry Met Sally. And who else? Carrie Fisher. Because that's right, she plays his wife. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always keep Carrie Fisher's filmography in my back pocket.
There you go.
Because, well, it tends to be useful.
As it was.
Yes.
There you go. See, so you were able to make
Nancy Cartwright, huh?
It worked.
Yes.
See, in my mind, what I did it thinking that, he should be able to do this. But I went to...
Oh, yeah.
Do you know where I went?
No.
I went to Rob Reiner in All in the Family. So I went...
To TV.
Yeah, because I went Bruno Kirby. Derville Martin is in the final come down with Jim Brown. No, what's the movie he's in with Jim Brown?
I don't know if he's in something with Jim Brown. You're thinking about Fred Williamson.
Derville Martin he's in one of the Jim Brown movies.
Maybe. Not that I know off the top of my head. I'd always think about him in The Hell Up in Harlem in Black Godfather.
All right, well, Fred Williamson. And then Fred Williamson is in
Through the
Hard
Hard
Way
Way.
with
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. And then I went, Jim Brown is in The Dirty Dozen with Carol O'Connor, who was in All in the Family with
Right.
Rob Reiner.
Which is on TV.
Which then messed me
Which
up.
is on TV.
Right.
Right.
And then messed me up.
So you can't even do the one you
Well,
picked.
I really...
Yeah.
I...
I'm glad. I'm just glad everybody else heard it. I'm just glad everybody else heard it.
It's a hard game.
Yeah.
It's a hard game.
Right. Well, there you go.
Well, we did it.
We did it.
This is what we did together.
We did it together. Nancy Cartwright. I thought she was in movies though.
But she's not really a star. Like,
I know.
And they were definitely indie movies. They wouldn't have helped you.
Yeah, I know.
Godzilla actually was the biggest live action film that she was in.
Yeah.
I mean, once she started making that Simpsons
Well,
money,
that's what I was saying. Yeah.
22 episodes a year for 30 years.
Look.
The woman is 60-something years old. She's still doing Bart Simpson's voice.
Look. Nice work if you can get it.
And that's just the TV show. She does Bart Simpson's voice on all the video games, any ancillary. Yeah.
Nice work if you can get it. All right.
Sharon Eldridge points out that it's a hard game, the Trevor Martin game, when you pick people that only have 2 movie credits.
We got there.
But we got there, Sharon.
We got there. All right.
Talking from the cheap seats.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, right.
Let's get into our review of Blue Streak.
Blue Streak, a 1999 comedy action film directed by Les Mayfield and written by Stephen Carpenter, John Blumenthal, Michael Berry, and Steve Carpenter, who I guess is different than Stephen Carpenter. When a heist goes wrong, thief Miles, played by Martin Lawrence, hides a diamond at a construction site before he's arrested. After serving 2 years, Miles returns to the location of his treasure and finds it is now a police station. Disguising himself as a recently transferred officer to infiltrate the building, Miles stops an escaping thief while trying to retrieve the jewel. Impressed by his quick action, Superior Rizzo partners him with the bumbling detective Casey, played by Luke Wilson. 1999's Blue Streak, directed again by Les Mayfield, written by a variety of people, was the choice of Lynn Webb. Lynn, what do you guys say about Blue Streak?
Not much. First of all, I think it's very interesting, Blue Streak, where it comes in the career of Martin Lawrence. And we were going on about his career earlier. It comes out in 1999.
Yeah.
The same year that Martin Lawrence teams with Eddie Murphy and presents Life
Yeah.
in the theater.
Yeah,
So
oh,
a
yeah.
film that has been reviewed quite favorably here on the Micheaux Mission, and quite favorably
Generally.
generally.
Yeah.
Even though it was not a runaway hit, but it's a movie that people have returned to and really appreciate.
Yeah.
But in 1999, Martin Lawrence is also 2 years removed from his hit TV series, this series that arguably made him an icon
Yes.
in some black houses, Martin,
Yes.
which ran from 1992 to 1997. And so and it was definitely a certified hit series. It maybe didn't stick the landing at the end, which we could maybe talk about a little bit, but it was a series. It was appointment television for Black America for 5 years. People going home to make sure that they saw it on Thursday nights, if I remember, for most of its runtime was on Thursday. So Martin was beloved by Black America. You mentioned as well that he was the host of Def Comedy Jam on HBO, which was a series that launched the career of some of the biggest comedians of the time. Certainly gave them more prominence than they had ever felt. And Martin Lawrence, as the host of the show, was pitch perfect in keeping the energy and keeping the mood going for that show, and was definitely one of the reasons why that show was a runaway success for its years on HBO. So he is feeling his powers in 1999. But what I would also contend is that in 1999, also it should be mentioned, this is after he has also exploded onto the screen. He's done movies, he's done some comedy films, but he really is real, and he's had bit parts in House Party.
Yeah.
At this point, he was in House Party 2. He's got a role in Boomerang, gives him prominence in 1992.
I mean, you've buried the lead. He's already been in Bad Boys.
And that's what I'm about to say. And then you get to Bad Boys with Will Smith, which then blows him up as like this pseudo comedy action hero.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much in the same vein as Eddie Murphy at the time.
Yeah.
And probably Eddie Murphy's kind of like starting to crest a little bit out of the action genre at that point. And Martin Lawrence seems like he's ready to maybe pick up that mantle a little bit, but he's also got Will Smith to contend with. But so by 1999, he's at the height of his powers, but he's also, I think, because of the success and a bit of the controversy of the Martin TV show, he is a performer who is betting on himself and doesn't have much room or time to play with others. I think that was certainly the case in the last, at least certainly last 2 seasons of Martin, where it basically became the Martin Lawrence sketch show, and just watching in the other actors standing around and watching him go from character to character, to bit to bit. Every once in a while they may get a line in, and it becomes a little bit of an issue in some of his movies. Most famously at this time, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate in 1996, and Nothing to Lose in 1997, where Martin Lawrence, certainly a talented individual. Nobody's going to knock the man's talent, but a man who is not generous about sharing screen time.
Right, absolutely.
All eyes on me, Martin Lawrence, at all times. And one might say, okay, well, maybe he feels like he's a guy who's paid his dues. It's kind of like the third man in Boomerang and the House Party movies. So now it's my time to shine. Paid a little bit of dues on TV with the reboot of What's Happening, which is where he kind of like started.
It's a deep cut.
Well, it's a deep cut. What's happening now? But he was happening now. So maybe he feels like he's paid his dues. So all eyes should be all on me. And as we deemed him, he's so crazy, we couldn't take our eyes off of him.
Sure.
But I think that proves to be, the thing that like does him in, because while drinking your own Kool-Aid, the taste starts to sour in our mouths. Or more to the point, let me speak for myself.
Sure.
It starts to sour in my mouth.
Sure, absolutely.
I famously have told people I was a fan of Martin, but I checked out like the last 3 seasons because it became the Martin Lawrence show. I was a fan of him in movies, loved him in Bad Boys, loved him in Life, loved him in House Party, loved him in Boomerang, and I even liked a couple of his solo projects. But I could see a man like starting to like feel himself a little bit. It's like, yo, man, slow down. And a guy who was becoming a bit of a caricature and going through the same beats all the time. And his shtick became a little bit tiring, which then brings us to 1999's Blue Streak, which, as you mentioned, the story of this is he plays a thief, a master thief who steals a diamond, but he gets double crossed, and in order to try and save face within the midst of this double cross, he hides the diamond inside this building that is being constructed, right? Which is where they stole it from. Now, stopping for a moment to just curious about them breaking into a building that was being built. It was still being constructed, yet somebody thought it was still smart enough to keep a diamond inside of it. No. That's right.
He
escapes into another building across the street. All right, you're right. Because that what I was saying just hit me.
Right.
But you're right. Yeah. He escapes across the street. But anyway, he tapes it up and then gets out of jail 2 years later, and realizes that the air conditioning duct where he taped up the diamond was actually in a building that was being built. It was the LAPD headquarters. So now he ultimately has to fake becoming a cop so that he can find the diamond.
Sure.
And then hilarity ensues.
Mm-hmm.
But in this movie, which is packed with pretty good performers, it's a very young Luke Wilson. William Forsythe is in this film. Always welcome sight on the big screen. Peter Green plays the antagonist. He's very good.
Like Peter Green.
You got Nicole Ari Parker.
Sure. She's
blink and you miss her. Tamala Jones, blink and you miss her. But no matter how many times you blink, you won't miss Martin Lawrence.
Right.
Because Martin Lawrence is maybe in every scene in this movie.
Dave Chappelle shows up.
Well, I was going to say Dave Chappelle. Martin Lawrence is in every scene in this movie, and he is mugging for the camera.
Yeah.
In every solitary scene. And the only scenes where he is up against anyone who can match him in energy is Dave Chappelle for the few moments that he is in this movie. And it is in those few moments, and it is in the little bit of give and take between the two of them, where Martin Lawrence is being generous and sharing funny lines a bit with a fellow comedian at that time, where the movie, I feel, has any type of snap to it. Mind you, this is not some wholly original movie. It's basically it's a buddy. It has the look of a buddy cop film because he's riding around with Luke Wilson. Yeah. But Luke Wilson does not have any near equal stakes to him. So it's not really a buddy cop film. And the film, which starts off kind of like a derivative caper film, devolves into a Beverly Hills Cop knockoff by the end of it, without the charm of Eddie Murphy. Because I would contend that comedically, they probably are close in talent. Eddie Murphy certainly a little bit more talented, and it's certainly a better actor. But certainly comedically, they both probably have the same skills. But Martin Lawrence has his bag of tricks is very limited, and he goes to that well time after time after time in this movie, and it just becomes a tired shtick, and you're waiting for him to give someone else a chance to play, and nobody else gets a chance to play. And I felt, and as I'm watching the film today, I'm asking myself, well, did I feel this way when I watched this in 1999? And if I think back to when I watched it in 1999, I think I liked it well enough, but it didn't leave any lingering impression on me. And I think that is the reason, because one, I had already checked out on the Martin Lawrence Experience. Two, at this time, and we're not going to go deep into it, at this time, Martin Lawrence was in the midst of a little bit of controversy because I think this was around the time where he was on the streets and he was
he had a mental
kind of like a mental break,
like a break
that it was going through. So that was kind of like swirling around as well. And then three, it just being such a derivative film, that I really didn't have any regard for it at that time. And watching it again today, a lot of those same feelings returned to me. I really wanted to like it a lot, and it has humor because Martin Lawrence can be funny, but ultimately I found it just a trying experience watching it today.
Yeah, I think just sort of logistically, one thing that it really stretches the bounds of sort of suspending your disbelief, even within a film like this. As you mentioned, it is highly derivative in the DNA of other, dare I say, better films are all over, whether we're talking about the Beverly Hills Cop series, we mentioned his own series, Bad Boys, and I'll even throw in Rush Hour, where you have this kind of wisecracking black cop who's very unorthodox in his behavior and his practices, but somehow he always figures it out. And the thing about the Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker, because I mentioned Chris Rock, but I feel like Chris Rock has played this cop character in something that maybe I just can't think of. But Chris Tucker, Will Smith, and again Martin Lawrence, is that they had the space to be unorthodox and sort of against the grain and wisecracky because they were actually policemen. This is a character pretending to be a policeman, but still acting like this, so that at any given moment, it seems like somebody should say, this person is not acting like a policeman. We should check and see if he's a policeman. And they pay lip service to it. There's a lot of, I couldn't find you. And Martin Lawrence's character, Miles, says, back and forth, oh, well, I'm undercover and I'm this and that. Yeah. Enough that that they acknowledged it. But like I said, it really did stretch the bounds of it all the way to the end. I think what really surprised me about this film is when it comes out in his filmography, because this feels like it should have been earlier. Like this feels like a first or second foray into films for Martin Lawrence, because I have to say, when we talk about films like A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, or what's the other
Nothing
film?
to Lose.
Nothing to Lose. Those felt much more like vanity projects to me.
Well, certainly.
Like those felt much more like I am Martin Lawrence, the star.
Yeah, because Martin, he directs
and I'm wrapping this thing around me. Whereas this, while he is certainly in Martin Lawrence mode, outside of life and what I remember in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, which obviously we'll talk about sooner than later, this is actually the most collaborative that I remember him in a film.
Really?
Talk about Luke Wilson, and certainly of the two, Martin Lawrence, as you mentioned, Luke Wilson is fairly young in his career. I really like Luke Wilson, and the thing I think Luke Wilson brings a very unique energy to his roles, and I have to say, I enjoyed the two of them together. Like,
Really?
I liked because I think Luke Wilson, right under the surface, always has this kind of wonkiness
Yeah.
that you get, that I thought his quiet wonkiness with Martin Lawrence's over the top wonkiness, somehow it worked for. Now let me backtrack and say this. This is a fairly short film.
Yeah.
So the wobbling that I'm talking about, part of the reason it wobbles and it holds up is I think it goes ahead and gets out of here. One thing, and you mentioned it, and what I will add to your Dave Chappelle critique, I thought Dave Chappelle was used very well in this film.
Because he's just peppered in.
And just at the moment that you think, okay, I'm bored, let me do some. It's like the director calibrated this perfectly to drop in Dave Chappelle as this sort of chaotic element who can reveal everything. Plot-wise, he threatens to reveal the scam. And then, as you mentioned, he matches Martin Lawrence's energy. Because it is very run-of-the-mill and very, dare I say, cookie cutter, the irony is that I feel like it kept him at bay.
It kept Martin Lawrence.
I kept Martin as someone
wow.
who is not frankly a Martin Lawrence fan. Like to me, a little Martin Lawrence always goes a long way. Like there was enough plot filtering that for every moment, every 2 moments Martin Lawrence was mugging and doing this, that, and the other, there's a moment where he has to figure out where the diamond is. There's a moment where Peter Green is showing up and doing things. There's a moment where the other detectives are trying to figure out who he is. Like there's enough of it that it worked for me as much as a Martin Lawrence film would work.
Wow.
And I really did. Like I really thought this was his first or second film. Like I was shocked.
Like his first and second solo film. Right.
Solo film.
Right.
Like I was actually shocked that this was after Martin had gone. As you mentioned, by the time Martin goes off, the other 3 cast members are just sort like
They're set pieces.
The other 3 cast members in Martin don't get as much time as characters as Luke Wilson does in this film.
Yeah,
So that,
but
it's,
Luke Wilson he's warmed over Judge Reinhold from Beverly Hills Cop.
he
in
won,
this.
no. He 100% is. But I think Luke Wilson has this sort of, he's almost like AI designed a good-looking guy. Like Luke Wilson almost has this uncanny valleyness to him, especially when he's young. That again, it's this weird energy that you get with Luke Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know. See,
That I'm not going to say I like this movie, but I liked it more than I thought I was going to like it. Which again, the bar was on the ground. B, I'm going to hold out because I do remember enjoying Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. This may be my favorite Martin Lawrence film. Outside of that. As a Martin of Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins, like as a Martin Lawrence vehicle, as you said, we've talked about this. I think Martin Lawrence's best film is Life, but that's a buddy film. I think right behind Life is Bad Boys, which is another buddy film. And then anything else he's been in, he's just been part of a cast. But as far as this is a Martin Lawrence film, I like this better than A Thin Line Between Love and Hate. I like this better than the Wizard movie. I like this better than, why do I keep forgetting the name of you just said it. You've said it like
Nothing to Lose.
I like it better than Nothing to Lose. And I think there's
And the Wizard movie you're talking about is Black Knight.
oh my God, that was terrible. Yeah, I like it better than Black Knight. Like, I think there's enough going on in here that it filters the mugging that you get all the time. Like, I mean, like think about it. Like, he's got the ridiculous moment where he dresses up as... There's only one scene in this film where he dresses up in a costume.
Right. That's when he does the pizza delivery guy.
Think about that. This is 2 years after Martin has gone off. There's no love interest,
No, there's not.
which
Which I will applaud.
right.
I will applaud that.
Right. Like Tamala Jones shows up and you know, frankly, I wish she had stayed in the movie. Like, I'm always happy to see
Yeah,
Tamala
she
Jones.
really is in for one scene.
Right.
That's it.
It seems like this Nicole Ari Parker thing is going to be a thing, but then it's not a thing.
It's not. Yeah, I think Nicole Ari Parker is cast because they want an actress to play this role. I don't think whether or not they ultimately wanted to do.
I mean, did it have to be an actress?
Well, I guess it didn't have to
Right.
be an actress.
Right, that's my
But
point.
to that point, then it could have been anybody. So she got the role.
Right.
Because all she's doing is playing a lawyer.
Right. So, like, you think about the egocentric triggers in these films. He's not doing the dress up. He's not a ladies' man. There's one moment where Luke Wilson says, "I like your suit." He's not a clothes hound. He's not even really doing a lot of movie action guy stuff.
I disagree. He's running all over the freaking
No,
place.
but I think it's on a scale of 1 to Beverly Hills.
Then he's in a car chase.
He's in the car chase, but he's not like punching people or.
Well, I mean, but action doesn't always have to be
Right.
fighting. Eddie didn't do a lot of fighting.
I'm just saying, as far as these ego-driven projects, this is a fairly muted outing.
No, I think he does as much action in this movie as Eddie Murphy does in most of his movies.
Okay. He doesn't do as much as he does in Bad Boys.
Okay, fair. But Bad Boys is decidedly, I think, an action first
All right.
comedy.
Fair.
This is an action comedy.
Right.
And again,
just to finish it, just to underline what we've both said, he is surprisingly generous with Dave Chappelle.
But first of all, I don't think he's surprisingly generous with Dave Chappelle. I think talent knows talent, game knows game. So I see him, doing with Dave Chappelle because he probably, knows Dave Chappelle from the clubs and everything like that. And also, he's not the director, he's not the writer. And Dave Chappelle definitely, if you look at those scenes, they sound like Dave Chappelle. Like it sounds like Dave Chappelle kind of like riffing.
Right.
And a director saying, yeah, let's go with that. You know what I mean? As opposed to what the script.
Dude, I
would
hear
have
you
said.
saying he didn't direct it, but 1999, again, this is Martin Lawrence, and the director is, I'm sorry, what's his name?
Lose something.
Exactly. Like, let's not act like we know who the big voice is in this film.
Okay, well, I think he still did call the shots.
Okay.
And yeah, you saying that this is better than Thin Line or Black Knight or Nothing to Lose, like you always say, the bar's set low with all of those.
Yeah, it's in hell.
Yeah. So I think he is. I don't know. I think the mugging got too annoying for me, and it stopped me from enjoying the film. I don't think that he's being very generous with anybody in the film at all. I think he is up against people who are good actors, so they find a way to at least shine a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think that is in spite of the very little room or light that he is allowing to shine on them.
I don't disagree with that. Like, I don't disagree that maybe this is in spite of him. I'm just saying, well, what I said, I was.
But you say he was generous. I don't think he was generous.
I think it was generous with Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
I think it was generous with Dave
That's what you
Chappelle.
said. That's what you said.
This felt like the product of someone who didn't have as much pull as I think Martin Lawrence had on this film. Like I said, I really did think, like I looked at that 1999 3 times because I thought it was a typo.
Because you feel like this comes out maybe in the
Maybe the break between the first and second season of Martin.
or at worst right after the end of it.
But see, even at the end of it, this is not the product I would expect from someone after the end, regardless of how it ended. After the end of a 6-7 year run. And again, someone who, I mean, is Bad Boys 2 out by 99?
No.
Yeah, after Bad Boys. Yeah, I'm just. And let's look. I'm only gonna fight you about Blue Streak, but so hard. Like, I actually had hoped that you liked it better than me. Like, but somehow I'm sitting in the seat where I'm defending Blue Streak.
You are.
It's a weird seat.
Don't feel comfortable.
Well, it just feels weird. But I have to say, like it went off, and I said, "Oh wow, well there you go."
Yeah. I said bye.
Yeah.
So,
So, would you recommend Blue Streak?
I would not recommend.
Would not recommend Blue Streak.
I would not. Would you recommend Blue Streak?
Look, I'm gonna say the same thing I say every time we talk about Martin Lawrence. People seem to like Martin Lawrence.
They do.
People love Martin Lawrence.
You said that they love him. Black people love him. He's an icon.
I think he is an icon. Martin Lawrence. I know the official statement of Martin Lawrence, even among the Martin Lawrence naysayers, is that, oh, I liked the first couple of seasons of Martin, and then it devolved into et cetera, et cetera. I never liked Martin. Like,
Really?
I never.
You never liked the show.
I never liked the show at all.
Oh wow.
I think generally he's a level right underneath fingernails on a chalkboard. Just like right underneath. I like him in ensembles.
Do you like him in small doses?
I like him in small doses
or paired with
someone.
a stronger performer.
A stronger performer, but I defer to the collective. I love Martin Lawrence for the culture. If you like that Martin Lawrence thing, he is doing his thing in here. I was pleasantly surprised at how little of that thing there was in here compared to other outings.
Well,
that
compared to
we've
other
seen.
outings, well, you say little, I say there was a lot of it.
Compared to The Thin Line Between Love and Hate? Compared to Nothing to Lose?
Well, Thin Line Between Love and Hate, I think he's trying to be Eddie Murphy, and he fails. And in this one, I think he's trying to be the other Eddie Murphy. And he's maybe a little better at that because it plays to his strength, but it's just...
And the structure. I'm telling you, the structure.
Well, it's the Beverly Hills
holds
Cop
him
structure.
back, right? Which, as we
I
talk
don't
about,
think it holds him
isn't
back.
really a comedy.
I don't think it really holds him back.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's our review, ladies and gentlemen, of Blue Streak. All right?
There you go.
We're not going to... We're done.
I will recommend it. If I got to go, I mean, I don't
You're
know.
a softie.
I mean, when's the next time I'm going to recommend it? Well, maybe in 2 weeks.
Maybe in 2
Maybe in
weeks.
2 weeks. But, sure, I'll recommend it.
I mean, you don't recommend it just, because I feel like recommending a Martin Lawrence movie.
No.
Grade it as just itself on its own merit.
As itself on its own.
So its own merit, you would recommend that people go and rent Blue Streak.
If you like Martin Lawrence, yes.
Okay.
All right. There you
All
go.
right. Well, that's Vincent's take and my
That's
take.
right. There you go.
On Blue Streak, ladies and gentlemen, before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, I invite you to follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether or not it be Facebook, Instagram, or X, at Micheaux Mission. Or you can also subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube. Hello, each and every one of you out there. And hit that
YouTubers.
subscribe and hit the bell so that you'd be notified when we put up new shorts and videos. We had videos going up over the holidays. I think I put up like a good couple of reviews and a couple 6 Degrees and top 5s are up there. Our top 5 films, black films for 2023 up there. And more videos will be adding more and more because I've carved out time in my editing schedule. That's what I've done. What else is there, Vincent? Emails. You can email the Micheaux Mission. Email us at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's MICHEAUXMISSION@gmail.com. The Micheaux Mission is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, which is working every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here at Young Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace here in Manayunk. And if you want to book your time in one of the fabulous studios here at Young Junk, email our man Dylan at youngjunk.com, DYLAN at youngjunk.com. Next week on the Micheaux Mission, it is Vincent's turn, and he goes to the year of 2008 as we continue exploring the filmography of one Edward Murphy. And Vince has selected for your viewing pleasure, Meet Dave.
Meet Dave.
Meet Dave, ladies and gentlemen.
Meet Dave.
2008. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time to meet again.